Pirates awakened Conqueror at the beginning. Chapter 221 to 240. Chapter 221 Shanks in full force. The island roared, and the air between heaven and earth ripped apart. With ballet as the center, the aura of annihilation quickly spread over the entire island. Endless coercion, like the ruthless head of a huge mountain in the sky, is like the sea water sucking back a whirlpool. Pressed on Shanks' body, a click sounded. Before the coercion came, the ground beneath Shanks' feet, which had long been devastated by the world-shattering war between the two, was ravaged again. The mottled cracks are shocking. Even Ben Beckman from the periphery looked at the coercion that covered the sky. His body was forced to retreat by the windless energy, and his face was full of horror and terror. Ben Beckman, with a high IQ and outstanding strength, is also the deputy captain of the red-haired pirates. Before the battle, he cooperated with Shanks to block the two four emperors Charlotte Linlin and Kaido of the Beasts at the same time. It was a bit reluctant at first, but its achievements are enough to be proud of. You must know that there are not many people in the whole new world who can survive from the hands of the four emperors. Since Ben Beckman can do it, it is enough to show that his strength is at least the level of the three disasters and the three generals, or even higher than them. Some above. Ben Beckman has a long face, a pointed jaw, and a strong physique. At this moment, he was blown back and forth by the calm wind. The cigarette that was always in his mouth disappeared without a trace, and his eyes were fixed on the field. Undeniable, the bullet in front of him is the strongest person he has ever seen since he joined the Red Hair Pirates. This person's strength is definitely far beyond the Marine Admiral level. Unlike Shanks, Ben Beckman's sex is just right and idle lots Shanks compliments. Otherwise, the red-haired Shanks would not have developed so well today. He never laughed like other people, and at most he grinned when he was happy. Laughing, often with a serious or expressionless face, and sometimes being amused by carelessness, he is the most reliable person around Shanks, and also Shanks' right-hand man. This kind of existence, now facing the bullet's soaring combat power, his expression has completely changed. 500 feet. Yes, it is 500 feet. Who is stronger than Ben Beckman, was forced back by the coercion on the field by more than 500 feet, and stopped more than 500 feet away. Ben Beckman, who was looking at the field where Mount Tai was pressing to the top, had a face on his face. Nothing but horrified. The development of the situation has far exceeded his expectations. Today, I am afraid that just when Ben Beckman is worried, Shanks is also completely angry. The endless top Conqueror hockey, armament hockey and observation hockey, all opened in an instant, with Shanks as the center, another incomparably powerful aura pointed towards maiming, which had already become more than 1,000 feet in the opposite direction of the bullet. The earthquake that covered the sky roared. The aura that was originally oppressive to the four poles was instantly offset by the aura of Shanks, but an even more violent roar centered on the two of them, roaring away like thunder, passing by at the place. Earth and rocks flew, dust splashed, and Ben Beckman, who was originally more than 500 meters away, was pushed to 1,000 meters away in an instant, and Ben Beckman here was pale. Ignoring the disordered breath at all, Ben Beckman stared straight at the field with wild eyelids, his mouth slightly open in amazement. Captain, that's right, Shanks has completely used his current peak combat power. Even so, Shanks still looks dignified, because he can feel the extreme richness from the opposite giant bullet. Breath of Death. Chapter 222 hit. Strong coercion, Shanks with full combat power did not despise it. He was stunned for a moment, but soon his face was replaced by excitement. Ha 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 ha, good. Seeing that Shanks did not let him down, Bullet's fighting spirit was soaring, and he also wanted to see how strong he was now that he had awakened the ability to merge the fruit. The previous Gecko Moria was completely useless, and now the Four Emperor Fragrance Kess is completely different. Seeing that the opponent's strength is completely qualified, Bullet is of course overjoyed. As for failure, it was impossible in his eyes, even though the opponent was the Four Emperors, the red-haired Shanks. Battle. Without leaving the slightest hand, Shanks appeared in the sky above the 1,000 Jong Bullet in a flash, and the supremely sharp knife griffin fell from the sky, and the air was torn apart instantly. Facing Griffin's blow, Bullet, who turned into a giant of 1,000 feet, shouted, "Okay," and slapped Shanks, who was like a building, with a slap. The speed of the huge palm was indeed exceedingly fast. A knife. In an instant, between the sparks of the TV, it seems that the whole world has come to a standstill at this moment. Next instant, the violent energy centered on the two of them flew two and two open, and the endless dark red hockey, centered on the two, rushed out desperately, not the fastest, only faster. Was thousands of feet away. Ben Beckman, who was already pale, was about to spray out with a mouthful of blood, but when it reached his throat, Ben Beckman gave it to him. He swallowed and groaned at the same time, his body quickly retreated, and two shocking grooves appeared along the way. The members of the red-haired pirate group standing on the periphery, their captain's embarrassed appearance, especially looking at the 500-meter-long ditch, gulping saliva, staring at the field in awe. "My God, I see. That's a hem, Vice Captain Ben Beckman. I'm not dreaming, it's incredible." "Yeah, the Vice Captain, that's right, the Vice Captain was forced to retreat to such a degree just after the aftermath of the battle. If we were watching the scene, I am afraid it would be a near-death experience. What a terrifying battle, it is the top among the four emperors, it's terrifying. That Bullet is so powerful, I hope the captain can win. Not good, look at it." Just as many members of the pirate group were chatting and chatting, Shanks, who was thousands of feet high in the sky, was directly shot to the ground by the palm of the giant Bullet. Loud bang. The next moment, Shanks slammed into the ground of the island thousands of feet away, and the whole island made a sensation of the earthquake, and the Bullet on the opposite side was not relieved. A hill was trampled into powder by it. Seeing this scene, many members of the red-haired pirates watched with fright and pale in horror. Oh my God, what did they see? It was a small mountain, and it turned into powder after just taking a step back. Nyang Exapi, if this foot stepped on them, there would definitely be something wrong. No life. Poke Kiki Kiki. Shanks, who was shot down from 1,000 feet in the sky, immediately sprayed out a mouthful of red blood, which was dazzling on the island. Shanks, who was half kneeling on the ground, had a surprisingly solemn expression on his face. So strong, did he get injured directly by a single blow? Shanks muttered to himself. The black cloak behind him moved without wind, slowly stood up from the ground, heaved a deep sigh of relief, opened his eyes again, and there was an incomparable radiance. Chapter 223 _ Shanks Breakthrough. On the island. The 1,000-foot-plus Bullet saw the red-haired punching himself hard, but he only vomited blood and was slightly injured. He couldn't help but admire Shanks, an intern who he had never cared about before. Even Marine Admiral might not be able to withstand a single blow. Seen that this Shanks' strength is not weak, and he is very happy to have such an opponent to practice his hand. Just as Bullet was thinking about it, a strong wind came from the opposite side, and the source of the strong wind was none other than Shanks. Huh. Have you broken through? It's interesting. Bullet looked down at the ant-like Shanks from 1,000 feet above the ground, and let out a light whimper, and the smile on the corners of his mouth was even more pronounced. Ben Beckman, who was thousands of feet away, looked at the field and took a deep breath. This is Shanks breaking through the great swordsman. Looking at the field, Ben Beckman's heart set off a storm. So far, Baizi, who is also the fourth emperor in the whole world, and the current Marine Marshal Momoshige have transcended the realm of great swordsmen, and now they are a sea of red hair. The captain of the thief group, Shanks, after the two, became the third person to become the realm of the great swordsman. The sword chi spread, piercing the air and rushing into the sky, and the sharp sword chi of endless time oppressed the quartet. Xiaoqing. The cadres and members of the red-haired thief on the shore also looked shocked, and their gazes subconsciously focused on the center of the island. This breath is a ship. That's right, the sword chi before this definitely surpassed the level of the great swordsman. Could it be that the captain has broken through the realm of the great swordsman? Ha ha ha, it must be like this, amazing, captains. Above the great swordsman, what is there? Even the eagle eye is not the peak of the great swordsman. Not really. Thinking that the captain was able to break through under enormous pressure. I hope the captain can win. The bullet of the magic fruit is really too powerful. It can be said that it is beyond the scope of human beings to deal with. Look, the captain is going to shoot. The officials and members of the many pirates were chatting and discussing each and every one of them, and it was here that Shanks, with his bright eyes, smeared the soles of his feet, and instantly appeared more than hundreds of feet away, as if he had traveled through time. Normal space. Scoff. Griffin pierced through the air, and with an incomparable gesture, slashed towards the bullet, which was more than 1,000 meters tall. With the blessing of the sword energy and the three-color hockey, the skyrocketed instantly and turned into a sky-covering giant of more than 500 meters. The sword fell straight to the head, slashing towards the bullet fiercely. Ha 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 ha, good time. Bullet saw the energy giant sword of more than 500 feet, laughed heartily and immediately slammed it with a punch. The sword of more than 500 feet and the huge fist collided fiercely. At that moment, it was like two comets. As if smashed together. Loud bang. The whole island is shaking. It can clearly feel that the whole island has dropped a few points, and the sound of clicking is spreading from the center of the island. My darling, is this the rhythm of sinking the whole island? Neong Exipes, it's amazing, it's amazing. This kind of battle is rare among the four emperors. I have never seen such a terrible battle. Look, Bullet's arm is broken. Of the pirates on the shore swayed with screams, and everyone's eyes looked at the center of the island, when they saw a picture that made their 12 trillion sweat pores stand upside down. Chapter 224 Shanks loses. Coast, one eye after another stared at the center of the island with breathtaking radiance. The World Destruction War. The complete and world destruction war that they are playing in front of them is the same. They can't believe that, with only the aftermath of the two people's battle, nearly half of the island has been ravaged and leveled. Looking down from the air, it was like a giant from the sky, stomping on the island with one foot. It can be said that with the two as the center, half of the surrounding small island area has been moved to flat land. Scene was in a mess, like the ground after a volcanic eruption. Kai with Shanks's most powerful blow, Bullet's right arm broke into two pieces directly from the middle of his fist, and then roared on the island at the speed of a meteor, making a deafening sound, making people burst out. Tinnitus, my mind buzzing, like a cannonball shot out in my ear. The two halves of the giant fist slammed to the ground. Shanks withdrew the sword move, but his face did not show the slightest joy, but was extremely solemn, because he knew very well that such a degree of damage was completely offensive to Bullet. No real effect. Sure enough. Just as Shanks had this thought, Bullet, whose right arm had been severed, didn't care at all. He activated his ability again, and the blue liquid wrapped his right arm, and in a moment, the severed right arm was restored to its original state. Ha 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 ha. Okay, as expected of one of the four sovereigns, can't you see that the hairy boy from the beginning has grown to the point where he is now? If I hadn't awakened the devil fruit, you and I would have won or lost, but now, if this is your limit, you won't be able to win against my Bullet's weird issue. The recovery is like a right fist smashed out in an instant, with a loud bang tearing the air, and in the blink of an eye, it appeared in front of Shanks, and the subconscious Shanks tricolor hockey. Next moment, Shanks was instantly smashed and flew out. Shanks plowed out more than 1,000 feet on the ground. Of grooves. Blood splattered along the way, and his face was as pale as snow. You are very strong. It can be said that your strength is comparable to that of the vice president of the Hunter Guild, Eisen. I am afraid that there are no more people in the world who can beat you. Shanks, who was coughing violently, couldn't help but think of that. The mysterious man who killed the dragon, the four emperors by Z, the vice president of the Hunter Guild Eisen, and the mysterious president of the Hunter Guild Shenlong. Yes, then I will kill all the people in front of me. One Piece King of Pirates belongs to my Bullet, ha 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 ha. Quote. Defeat Shanks. Bullet also has a new understanding of his own strength. At this moment, he definitely has the strength to surpass the 4 emperors. Hunter Guild. I heard that Rayleigh became the General Counsel, so let's start with the Hunter Guild. Bullet, who murmured a word, looked for a direction and ran out in the form of lightning. Captain. Captain is all right. That guy is amazing. Numerous officers and members of the red-haired pirates came to the front in unison, looking at their captain worriedly, and looking at the deep ditch that stretched thousands of feet. It was frightening just to see. Poof. It was not until Bullet completely disappeared in this sea area that Shanks sprayed out a mouthful of red blood again, and then his eyes went black, and he passed out directly. Captain. Hurry up, the ship doctor will come and see. Get out of the way, get out of the way, make way for the ship doctor. For a while, there was a panic on the shore of the island. Only Ben Beckman looked in the direction Bullet was leaving. His eyes were very complicated. Chapter 225 _ The next target Hunter Guild. After half a day. The whole world, because of this shocking war, once again set off a wave of heated discussions. Fishman Island, the headquarters of the Yanwang pirates. What? 4 Emperor Shanks was defeated. Bullet, that guy didn't show up for such a long time. He has already appeared and defeated the 4 Emperor Shanks. It's true. Of course it's true. Didn't you read the photos in the newspaper? The 4 emperors were beaten badly. It is said that the entire island was sunk. Bullet's awakened devil fruit is so powerful that the 4 emperors Shanks are no match for him. No, I heard that before Bullet beat Shanks, he punched his ex-king Shichibukai Gecko Moria to death on a certain island. You're kidding me. Shichibukai was beaten to death by Bullet. Although Gecko Moria is weak, he's not that rookie. Hey, what do you know? It's not that Shichibukai Gecko Moria is weak, but Bullet is too strong, so strong that people doubt life. Marine Headquarters, Office of Marshal Momoshige. Everyone has heard of it. What do you think of the sudden appearance of Bullet? Momoshige looked up at the top of the many marine headquarters in the office. Bullet used to be the existence of the Roger pirates, second only to Roger, and the existence of the Hades Rayleigh. Now that the devil fruit has awakened, its ability has definitely increased exponentially. From the point of view of easily defeating the 4 Emperor Shanks, Bullet's strength is absolutely superior. As we imagined, we'd better keep silent until we provoke our marine. As a new admiral, Tsunade is also the one who knows the reason why Momoshige is now the marshal. Carefully. Yes, what Tsunade Admiral said. Best way today. Just watching the changes. As soon as Tsunade said this, many high-level officials around him echoed. They knew very well that if they attacked Bullet, it would definitely be one of them who would take the lead. They had to know that the other party was Bullet, and Roger was still there before. Of him. Wait and see. I'm afraid it can't be done. You look at this. After Momoshige finished speaking, he glanced at the news just sent by his subordinates, and when they saw it, everyone was not calm. The message on it is simple and clear. Bullet killed Gecko Moria, severely damaged the 4 Emperor Shanks, and is now approaching the Hunter Guild. Seeing this, Tsunade couldn't help but be shocked. The Hunter Guild, that is the potential force of Lord Baizi, and must not be destroyed by a single bullet. Marshal Momoshige, since this is the case, then I will go there as a member of the Hunter Guild. If possible, I will kill Bullet. Tsunade's phoenix eyes flickered, and for anyone who could threaten Baizi-sama, she would stop at nothing to nip him in the bud. As soon as Tsunade said this, the rest of the office swallowed their saliva. It was too late for them to avoid Bullet, but this guy was rushing on, and he was also drunk. This Momoshige should have a long-term plan. Tsuru Vice Admiral heard that, frowning slightly. Obviously the whole decision made her feel bad. Although Gon Tsunade's strength is very strong, even stronger than her, but this time it is Bullet, who was equal to the Hades Rayleigh in the past, and now is awakening the devil fruit. In her opinion, such an existence is not at all. An admiral can handle it. Chapter 226 _ War is approaching. Time flies, and days go by in the blink of an eye. Prehistoric Island, the Hunter Guild headquarters, The former four emperors Whitebeard and the general advisor Rayleigh looked at the newspaper in front of him with a heavy expression, and looked at the sea in the distance. Ever since he learned that Bullet killed the King Shichibukai Gecko Moria, it has severely damaged the current four emperors. Hair Shanks. They put everyone in the Hunter Guild into a state of alert level 1. An existence that can defeat the beginning of the line is not a big threat to their Hunter Guild. They know Shanks' strength, but they may not be able to beat Shanks. It can be seen that the arrival of the Bullet this time, it's definitely not a small shock to their Hunter Guild. What's more, Bullet's strength was comparable to Rayleigh long ago. For example, although Rayleigh's strength has grown a lot now, it is far less powerful than Bullet, who awakened the Devil Fruit ability. Assuming the date, Bullet is probably coming soon. Whitebeard muttered to himself, then turned to look at Rayleigh, the Hades next to him. Has the vice president arrived yet? At this moment, Whitebeard's heart was pinned on the vice chairman Eisen. Since Bullet can defeat the red-haired Shanks without any effort, he must not be an opponent. Not only him, Pluto, Rayleigh and everyone at the Hunter Guild headquarters on Prehistoric Island are not that. Bullet's opponent, who has been in the New World for decades, how can he not know the reason why the egg is completely under the nest? If the Hunter Guild doesn't stay, then he and Marco and his children will once again be exposed to the sight of enemies from all sides, especially that Blackbeard Teach, whose strength has grown exponentially. The two sides have a life and death feud. Either you die or I die. No matter how many years have passed, only one of them can survive. I got in touch when I got in touch, but I just don't know what Eisen will look like. Rayleigh pushed the frame of the gold-rimmed glasses, and he hadn't seen it for many years, and he didn't expect that one day he would go head-to-head with Bullet. Although the two were on the Roger pirate ship, they had very little interaction. Not only him, but also the entire pirate group and Bullet did not have much interaction. To put it bluntly, Bullet was not obtained for the Roger pirate group at all. It was for Roger. At that time, he was determined to defeat Roger and become the strongest person in the world, but until Roger died, his wish did not come true. Now that Roger is dead, the New World has entered the era of great sailing, and new talents from all sides have emerged one after another. Many people have forgotten the once famous Bullet of the Roger Pirates. Existence that was no less powerful than Rayleigh at the beginning, but now he killed a King Shichibukai when he came back, and seriously injured a fourth emperor. Hopefully catch up. When Whitebeard heard Roger's words, his casserole-sized fist clenched tightly, his eyes flashing with determination, but before that, you must stop the Bullet at all costs. Meanwhile, Prehistoric Island is not far away. A ship was heading towards Prehistoric Island at an unhurried speed, and on the deck of the ship, a man stood upright, looking straight in the direction of Prehistoric Island, muttering to himself, Pluto Rayleigh, my vice captain, Bullet is here, I hope you don't disappoint me. Mouth twitched with excitement. Compared with Shanks, he was more interested in the Hunter Guild's Hades, Rayleigh and Whitebeard, and even the vice chairman named Eisen behind them. He Bullet, to defeat all the strong people in the whole world and become the strongest person in the world. Chapter 227 Kill to Prehistoric Island. At first, Marine did not hesitate to launch a buster call in order to catch Bullet. That battle can be said to be the biggest thing besides Roger's execution to start the Great Voyage. The original Barrett and Roger's suppression. Now that Roger is dead, he has awakened the fruit ability again, and his ambition to be suppressed by Roger has expanded again. Become twisted. He wants to make Marine and everyone pay the price. He wants to defeat everyone and become the master of this world. The so-called Tianlong people are also ants in his eyes. The ship sailed, the shadow of Prehistoric Island finally appeared in Bullet's field of vision, and with the approaching Prehistoric Island, the corner of Bullet's mouth curved again. I hope this trip will not disappoint him. Under the shroud of observation hockey, Bullet felt several familiar scents from the Prehistoric Island, but he did not find a stronger presence. Covered by the overwhelming observation hockey, the entire Prehistoric Island seems to be shrouded in endless darkness, making people breathless. The top floor of the Hunters Guild. Rayleigh and Whitebeard and his party were waiting here early, feeling the strong observation hockey, and Rayleigh's face was solemn. He's here after all. Whitebeard didn't speak, but held the knife tightly in his right hand, and today will be another hard fight. To know Bullet, who can even defeat the 4 Emperor Shanks, and he can't tolerate his carelessness. He, you are here waiting, you are flattered. Space flashed, and under the next moment of fluctuation, a figure appeared, and at the same time, a voice came out from the front, and the observation hockey, which enveloped the world, also disappeared, as if it had appeared before. Who came was none other than Bullet, who came slowly from the 4 Emperor's Shanks. Barrett, I didn't expect a little bit to become an adversary. Pluto Rayleigh's body did not move at all, but the sword energy around him was surging, almost equal to the strength of Shanks after his breakthrough. Obviously, Rayleigh's strength is extremely strong. As expected of Captain Rayleigh. When Roger was here, I wanted to fight you more than once. Now, after many years, I finally got what I wanted, but you are far from my opponent. I know. Pluto Rayleigh did not refute, but nodded in acknowledgement. Perhaps when he was the deputy captain of Roger, Bullet might not be his opponent, but now facing Bullet who has awakened the devil fruit, to be honest, his chances of winning are very small, even slim. Rayleigh, so you can be my subordinate. I see how you and the Hunter Guild will be part of the relationship between you and the Hunter Guild. Bullet looked at Rayleigh across from him and said with a laugh. This joke isn't funny at all, you know that's impossible. Rayleigh's expression was the same as usual, without the slightest change, and some were cold and unsmiling. He had to be fully alert to Bullet's provocation, otherwise, the consequences would be unimaginable. I'm just saying it casually. But I really didn't expect that the once mighty Whitebeard would be reduced to such a state now. It seems that Blackbeard bullied you enough. Bullet, don't go too far. Seeing this, Marco couldn't stand it anymore, his abilities surged, and he could attack at any time. Marco. Whitebeard hurriedly poured Marco, although Marco's strength is very good, but that's all, in the face of the existence of monsters like Bullet, even if he is stronger than Marco, he can't avoid the possibility of being killed. Chapter 228_1000 Hands Tsunade. Hunter Guild, everyone looked towards the top floor. All of them can clearly feel an aura full of danger, and the source of this aura is none other than Bullet. One is full of uncertainty, like an untimely bomb that may detonate at any time. Hey, Marco, captain of the 1st Division under Whitebeard, is a bit interesting. I don't know how many of your captains, Whitebeard, will die today. Faced with Marco's anger, it was obvious that Bullet didn't care at all. After all, the two were not on the same level. And this sentence is like a steel thorn stabbed into Whitebeard's heart. The death of his captains is the saddest thing for him. You must know that every captain under him is like him. The same as his son. Bullet's move undoubtedly touched Whitebeard's bottom line, and Whitebeard, who has the shock fruit, was angry, and the consequences were very serious. Is this the most powerful man in the world right now, but a lingering thing that should have been eliminated by the times, that's all. Goo la 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 la. The old man wants to see if it has really become a knockout of the times. Bullet who has awakened the power of devil fruit, let me try your depth. At this moment, Whitebeard was completely angry. With Whitebeard as the center, his super aura rose sharply. Marco and the others were all forced to retreat by the surrounding energy. Only the Pluto Rayleigh and Bullet were able to maintain their status quo. A battle is imminent. Rayleigh, let's go together. Two old men, you can hope for a longer time together. In the face of the hurricane-like energy in the field, Bullet has not only activated the ability of the devil fruit faintly. So is Rayleigh. As you wish. Rayleigh didn't procrastinate, because he was right. Bullet who had awakened the power of the devil fruit was no longer something he and Whitebeard could deal with. All they could do at this time was to delay as much as possible, hoping that their vice chairman Eisen would be quicker. Some come over. Ha 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 ha, is that right? Bullet laughed loudly, and the excitement in his eyes became even stronger. Arrogant boy, I want to find one for Mrs. Ja. Directly opening Baihao and Rokushiki, 6 styles, fierce punches fell from the sky, and the party discipline just hit the right hand of Bullet, who was barely forming a defense. Loud bang. An earthquake-like sensation exploded, and the next moment, the Bullet was directly smashed from the top floor by a punch, and a deep pit of more than 100 meters appeared on the square in front of the Hunters Guild. Bullet was the center of the pit, and the members around the square fled in confusion, and a cloud of dust splashed up. Where Bullet was standing was now occupied by a figure wearing a cloak of justice, and the person who appeared on the field was none other than Tsunade Admiral, who had just arrived from Marineford. In front of the Hunter Guild saw the beautiful figure one by one, and everyone was in an uproar. Tsunade-sama, that's Tsunade-sama. My dear, even Tsunade Admiral is here this time. Is this what the Marine headquarters means? Grandma, I really didn't expect Marine Admiral's strongest Tsunade Admiral to come. Yeah, although Tsunade Admiral is the youngest of the 3 Admiral, he is definitely the strongest. Tsunade Admiral, together with Lord Rayleigh and Whitebeard, will definitely defeat Bullet. Chapter 229_Big Fight. Tsunade Admiral, the figure that suddenly killed, and immediately got to the scene. Many members of the Hunter Guild were the first to be shocked. Who is Tsunade Admiral? He is the strongest person except Marine and now Marshal Momoshige. As for the limit of strength, no one knows at all, because everyone who knew Tsunade Admiral's strength is dead. Cough cough cough. Just when everyone felt that Tsunade also knocked Bullet flying with one punch, Bullet in the center of the pit coughed a few times, again attracting everyone's attention. Bullet opened his eyes and immediately set his eyes on Tsunade. His face was full of excitement instead of anger. Marine. Looks like a Marine Admiral is going to die here today. Seeing Marine's and Bullet, like a wounded tiger, his murderous aura reached its peak in an instant. If his eyes could kill, Tsunade at this moment would definitely have been strangled. He became nothing. Scoff. If you want me to die, see the trick. Flash, Tsunade Marine Rokushiki, combined with Naruto World's unique fighting technique, instantly appeared in front of Bullet. Bullet's response was equally slow, and he punched him directly. A match of strength. Instant, with the two at the center, the incessant clicking sound of the ground below pierced the silent air, and quietly, the cracks like spider webs spread rapidly, spreading thousands of feet away in the blink of an eye. Everywhere along the way, it was full of messes. Punch against each other, just the strength of the match is enough. After the blow, the two retreated one after another. Tsunade's face was solemn, and the opposite Bullet also flashed a hint of surprise in his eyes. Obviously, he didn't expect that Tsunade on the opposite side would be different from him in the power competition. Up and down. It's really good strength, but it's like escaping today's extinction and dreaming. Bullet, who sneered, looked at Tsunade like a dead person. At a certain moment, a different aura all over his body instantly rose, his awakening ability emerged, blue liquid appeared outside Bullet, and a giant hand that covered the sky directly moved towards Tsunade. Just shot it in the head. Local Giant, this is a new ability developed by Bullet these days. Ow! Just when the giant hand that covered the sky was about to fall, a majestic and violent howl burst out, and the surrounding trees and bushes were overturned by the air wave alone. Then, a nine-tailed demon fox appeared, revealing its body, and as soon as the nine-tailed demon fox appeared, both Rayleigh and Whitebeard stopped. This is the fox. Pluto Rayleigh looked at the nine-tailed demon fox, because he felt a strong and extreme threat from the demon fox. Obviously, the demon fox's strength was equally powerful and terrifying. Bullet's pupils shrank when he saw the demon fox that suddenly appeared, because he felt the same violent aura from which demon fox he had turned into a giant. Ha 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 ha, good. Bullet stopped holding hands immediately, and directly use the awakening ability to the extreme. For a time, Bullet, who was originally more than 3 meters tall, soared in height, and broke thousands of feet in the blink of an eye, and the height was still increasing. It stopped when it reached 1,500 jong, much more burly than the 9-tailed demon fox. I didn't expect the Hunter Guild to execute, and to encounter such an existence, so that I can try the limit. Bullet murmured, stepped on the ground, turned into a black shadow, and roared and punched at the 9-tailed demon fox. It was smashed on the huge head. Chapter 230 _ 9-tailed fox vs. Bullet. Prehistoric Island, in front of the Hunters Guild. The 9-tailed demon fox looked at the rushing giant Bullet, the corners of his mouth curled into a sharp arc, roaring up to the sky, and also turned into a red shadow, attacking the rushing Bullet. Lightning strikes, in an instant. The fist and the claw collided fiercely and domineeringly. The sturdy prehistoric island ground was overwhelmed with a crackling sound, and the two figures flickered like a teleportation. Wherever they went, countless plants and animals were slaughtered, strangled, to death. The beginning of a great war. 1 minute, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. The battle situation spread. Bullet and the 9-tailed demon fox fought from the front of the Hunter Guild to the shore of Prehistoric Island. Everyone who saw it was stupid, even the Pluto Rayleigh and Whitebeard. They never imagined that the fighting power of this 9-tailed demon fox would be so terrifying, that it would be able to fight against Bullet, who had awakened the devil fruit. With this record, the 9-tailed demon's strength is at least equal to them, or even stronger than them. And what surprised them most was that this 9-tailed demon fox, as Marine Admiral Tsunade's pet, seemed to be more powerful than this. Marine Tsunade-sama. Broki and his party of giants were also stunned when they saw it. Damn, what did I see? My darling, Tsunade-sama's Joran is so powerful. Yeah, Bullet killed Shichibukai, Gecko, Morley, and severely damaged the existence of the 4 Emperor Shanks. Now this 9-tailed demon fox is barely able to face it. Doesn't it mean that the combat power of the 9-tailed demon fox today is at least comparable to the existence of the 4 Emperors Shanks? This mother-in-law is too terrifying. It's not. With such combat power, I am afraid that it is not far from Lee Darren and Lord Whitebeard. Around the battlefield, many members of the Hunter Guild were chatting and complaining, and everyone was really shocked by what happened in front of them. Even Marco and Foil Vista behind Whitebeard were surprised that they couldn't close together. This 9-tailed demon fox is so terrifying. During this period of Marine, all kinds of geniuses and combat powers emerged one after another. Is Marine going to rise? First Momoshige, now Tsunade Admiral, plus Kuzan and Kizaru. Marine's combat power is much stronger than before. A group of Whitebeard's subordinate cadres and devil fruit-capable people sighed with emotion. They are very sure that if they fight against Bullet, who has awakened the devil fruit now, they will definitely not be able to do one move. As soon as the bang came to attack, the 9-tailed demon fox on the shore was surrounded by scarlet energy, and Bullet was surrounded by rocks as hard as iron, and the whole person formed an absolute defense. Scoff. Just after the 9-tailed demon fox was pushed back more than 500 feet by the force, the scarlet eyes flashed with madness. He opened his mouth and inhaled a lot of energy around it, and quickly gathered it in his mouth. In the blink of an eye, a purple black-tailed beast Bullet was generated from his mouth, and his eyes were full of violent colors. Bullet on the shore in the distance felt the danger to the extreme, and immediately stopped procrastinating, and instantly punched the 9-tailed demon fox with a punch. The speed is as fast as the blink of an eye. At the same moment, the 9-tailed demon fox shot the tailed beast in its mouth towards the incoming Bullet. Sky-shattering explosions suddenly occurred, and some of the weak members of the Hunter Guild were shocked to the point of bleeding from their 7 orifices, their faces paled, and even fainted directly. Chapter 231 _ Your Excellency. Ha 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 ha, the attack power is strong enough, but that's all. That smashed the 9-tailed demon fox with one punch. The sound of wild laughter exploded in the air, and in the next instant, a huge fist smashed directly on the head of the 9-tailed demon fox. A loud bang. Nine-tailed demon fox turned into a stream of light and flew out. Along the way, countless bushes were smashed into pieces, and the dust settled. Everyone on the prehistoric island was shocked to see more than 1,000 chapters of shocking groove marks, just like that. It broke into their field of vision, and at the end of the ditch, there was the figure of the nine-tailed demon fox, and the nine-tailed demon fox at this moment was obviously wilted a lot. The vitality is strong enough, but I don't know how to pick me up. Bullet saw that the nine-tailed demon fox only had a little breath, his eyes became more intense, his voice fell, and the figure had already appeared above the nine-tailed demon fox. He raised his hand and punched it. Presumptuous. Bold. Without waiting for Tsunade to shoot, Pluto, Rayleigh and Whitebeard, who had been waiting for a long time, shot together, two attacks that covered the sky, and instantly greeted the giant fist that covered the sky. Three-way collision is one touch. Bullet's attack was immediately forced to stop, and the body that covered the sky was also forced to retreat by two super strong attacks, 5 or 6 steps, and almost never stepped into the sea by accident. As for the Pluto Kings Rayleigh and Whitebeard on the opposite side, it was not easy. They both flew upside down for more than a few hundred meters, and looked at the opposite bullet again with a solemn expression. Strong. Unprecedented strength. This is the first thought of the two of them. With such strength, they can resist for a while, but after a long time, they will definitely be the ones who are defeated or even killed. Ha 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 ha, that's really good. Pluto, Rayleigh and Whitebeard are worthy of being famous in the New World. Come on, if you can't stop me, today is the last day of the Hunter Guild. Bullet laughed. The previous counterattack obviously gave Bullet a lot of confidence. Although the faces of Rayleigh and Whitebeard have been relentless, the heart has always been vigilant. After all, the two of them are both powerful beings, even if they are only stronger than Shanks, not to mention that it is a joint effort between the two now. Now that they are fighting against each other, the strength of the two has been figured out by him. Although they are not weak, it is far from enough to block him. Since no one can block him today, the Hunter Guild that shakes the New World will also no longer exist. Today is the day when my Bullet will come to the New World, called the Superpower. In order to celebrate my success, I will let everyone in the entire prehistoric island donate every blood of yours for my celebration. I want to make prehistoric island, no chickens and dogs. The voices of panic filled the air, and everyone in the Hunter Guild trembled. If ordinary people said this, they would definitely think it was a joke, but the person in front of them was Bullet, and just now, this guy was so strong that even Tsunade-sama's nine-tails demon fox, even repelled Pluto, Rayleigh and Whitebeard, the two adults. Hey. Your Excellency is so loud that you threaten to destroy my Hunter Guild, but I want to see how you destroy my Hunter Guild today. Many members of the Hunter Guild, including Dory Brokey, heard a familiar voice. A ray of light flashed in their eyes, their faces were full of ecstasy, and Aizen-sama came. Chapter 232 Aizen arrives. An icy voice came from the sky. The next moment, a figure appeared in everyone's field of vision, and slowly landed on the top of the Hunter Guild. President. You are here. The pale-faced Pluto, Rayleigh and Whitebeard stepped forward and said respectfully, and when Aizen-sama arrived, they were completely relieved. With the guild leader here, at least the Hunter Guild has kept it. Although Bullet is very powerful, they also know that the strength of their president is quite terrifying. Tsunade saw Aizen again. Her expression was very complicated. She could feel a familiar aura from this vice-chairman Aizen, although it was very faint, but it was there. Moreover, this vice-chairman is one of the few existences with the same strength as her benefactor Baizi. It is said that the strength is equivalent, but Tsunade does not know which of the two is stronger or weaker. After all, both of them are far stronger than her. Oh, is the Lord finally coming out? Bullet moved his wrist, and the surrounding space seemed to be torn apart, showing the extent of the current Bullet's strength wall. Bullet, the man known as the descendant of ghosts, only believes in his own power all his life, and has always been pursuing the ultimate power, wanting to surpass Roger and becoming the strongest in the world, since he left the 6th layer of Impel down, he has made up his mind. Kill all the strong at sea, even Marine and Admiral. Bullet, who was full of determination, heard that he knew his plans well, especially the secrets that only he knew. At this moment, Bullet felt extremely uncomfortable. Who are you? Eyes narrowed slightly, and his undisguised killing intent rubbed. If it was possible, he would definitely killing the guy in front of him, because he has violated his bottom line, and no one knows what his ultimate goal is. The sight in front of him is too weird and terrible, making him feel very insecure. If that's the case, then go to die. Killing intent jumped. Bullet clenched his fists, raised his fist and smashed it towards Eisen without leaving his hand at all. Such a punch was much more tyrannical than when he dealt with Hades, Rayleigh and Whitebeard before. Obviously, the previous battle, he has been hiding his strength. This guy. Pluto, Rayleigh and Whitebeard changed their expressions when they saw Bullet's attack power. When Bullet didn't use all his strength, he pushed them back, but now they are definitely not opponents. I hope Eisen-sama can win, otherwise the consequences will be disastrous. Yeah, if Eisen-sama can't win, my Hunter Guild will suffer an unimaginable disaster today, and even today is the end of my Hunter Guild. Pluto, Rayleigh and Whitebeard looked up at the top of the Hunters Guild, their eyes staring at it without blinking. Not only Rayleigh and Whitebeard, but the rest of the Hunters Guild, such as Dori Brocchi and Marco Foilvista, Tsunade and everyone else are also in the field of followers. If their Eisen-sama wins, the popularity of their Hunter Guild will soar by another level. If they lose, waiting for the end of all of them will be extremely painful. Just when Bullet's giant fist that covers the sky was about to hit Eisen, he saw Eisen sticking out his right hand, a forefinger facing Bullet's giant fist, and collided slowly and as if traveling through space. Chapter 233 Destroy the enemy with one finger. The giant fist of the index finger touched in an instant. At the moment of the collision, the whole world seemed to be stagnant at this moment. With the two as the center point, the incomparable hurricane roared away, and instantly spread to more than 100 sheets, and then attacking further afield again. The bullet, which was more than 1,000 meters tall, felt an unparalleled surge of energy from Wang Yang at the moment of the collision. Eisen on the opposite side stood still, and even his clothes were wrinkled in the slightest. The power of a single finger is so terrifying. Everyone around the Hunter Guild is dead silent. The giants, headed by Dori Brocchi, stared at the field with wide-eyed eyes, and fell into the extreme shock. My God, this is President Eisen, what a terrifying strength. One finger is the bullet punch that blocked the awakened devil fruit. Awesome, too powerful, we are saved, with Eisen-sama here, no one is the opponent of our Hunter Guild. So strong, so good hockey. After this battle today, no one will dare to target my Hunter Guild. Eisen-sama has boundless mana and mighty hockey. The Hunter Guild now has thousands of members, and the wave of heated discussions erupted, one after another of complaints. This is the true strength of the vice president. Pluto Rayleigh swallowed his saliva involuntarily, in order to stabilize the shocked Ney, who never imagined that the vice chairman Eisen, who had invited him to be the guild advisor, would be so powerful. What did he see just now? A finger. A finger. The vice chairman actually used just one finger to repel Bullet, who had awakened his ability to fit together. Such strength is really not an ordinary horror. If he used all his strength when he was sparring with himself, I'm afraid it would be that. One move at a time is enough to make him seriously injured. Unlike Rayleigh, the king of the underworld, Whitebeard saw the super strength of Eisen in front of him, and his colleague was shocked, but he was more fortunate that he had made the right choice. Now that the forces of all parties in the new world are ups and downs, and the turbulent times are coming, it doesn't matter if he is alone, but there are many sons behind him, and it is definitely the wisest choice to have such a super strong existence to take care of him. Hunter Guild, everyone's eyes were bright, and they were very excited. In the arena, an unbelievable look appeared on the huge face of Bullet, who staggered back. Impossible. How is it possible? how can I lose to a finger? Bullet was stunned. The scene in front of him far exceeded his expectations. In his opinion, even if someone in this world is stronger than him, it would not be too much stronger, but the guy in front of him. Impossible, fake, must be fake. I don't believe it, I don't believe it. I'm going to kill you. Bullet with a distorted face stomped on the ground with one foot, and the whole ground sent out an earthquake-like sensation. In the next instant, the bullet, which was more than 1,000 meters tall, rose directly into the sky, carrying an unparalleled momentum, and slammed into the attacking god. At the top of the Hunter Guild, Eisen left, and the posture was so strong that Eisen and the so-called Hunter Guild were smashed into powder with one punch. Poor people must have something to hate. Eisen's mouth sneered, the figure flashed, and the next moment was the attack that penetrated the bullet, and a punch slammed into Barrett's heart. A loud bang exploded from the sky. The rock body of the bullet, which was more than 1,000 meters tall, was directly smashed into pieces, and the bullet's deity turned into a one cannonball and hit the ground. Chapter 234 _ Bullet. The earthquake shook. In an instant, with the bullet as the center, a deep crater appeared in the radius of 1,000 meters, the dust lifted into the air, and the energy spread, and Dory Brockie and his party more than 1,000 meters away were forced to retreat again and again by the energy. Looking at the battle in the field, they were stunned and dumbfounded. What did they see? Just before the dust splashed, they saw the giant body above the sky who wanted to destroy their bullet awakening ability. It exploded directly in the air, and slammed into the ground along with the bullet, and the battle was very tragic. However, it was completely unilaterally crushed. On the other hand, their Vice President Eisen was standing in the void at this moment, and even his breath was not disturbed. Dust settled. Eisen appeared in front of the pale, seriously injured bullet. The strength is good, but the speed is too slow. Poof! When Bullet heard that, a mouthful of dark red blood sprayed out and splashed into the deep pit, which was very eye-catching. Who are you? A twisted look appeared on Bullet's pale face. He suffered a fiasco. Since he went out to sea, this was the most complete defeat in his history. Even when he fought against Roger back then, it wasn't so miserable. Approaching the Roger level in a straight line, this guy in front of him can defeat himself at this time. Doesn't that mean that this guy is stronger than the original Roger? I want to say that I am not from this world, do you believe it? Eisen glanced at the shocked Bullet and laughed out loud. Give you a chance, join the Hunter Guild, you will die. What? You don't kill me. When Bullet heard Eisen's words, he jumped wildly. Guy even let him go and asked him to join the Hunter Guild. You are not afraid, I will destroy the Hunter Guild in the future. Bullet was confused about the path of this guy in front of him. Hee, you won't, even less dare. Eisen is confident in Isho. Just now he has used the demon contract on Bullet, so there is no need to worry about loyalty. You are so confident, then I will join the Hunter Guild, and then defeat you and become the owner of the Hunter Guild. The unfamiliar yet familiar scene in front of him made Bullet think of the scene of the battle between himself and Roger at the beginning. Roger also had such self-confidence at the beginning, but then the hateful guy turned himself in. Really, I've been waiting for that day. Iran laughed out loud, then waved her right hand, and an identity card rushed towards Bullet. From now on, you will be the number 6 successor of my Hunter Guild. Bullet lowered his head and saw a wooden identity card. He subconsciously wanted to check the hardness. He was surprised to find that no matter how hard he tried, the wooden card did not receive any damage at all, and it had the word 6 on the front and the reverse written on it. Hunter's Guild. I want to know who the ID number 1 is. Bullet's eyes were brilliant, and he spoke out. It's the president of the Hunter Guild, and it's hard for me to see him, but if you want to target him, then beat me first. After all, that gang is 10 times stronger than me. Times of existence. Listening to Eisen's remarks, Bullet's whole body trembled as he heard it, and his eyes were full of brilliance. He was more stunned than the guy in front of him. What kind of powerhouse would he be? You know, this guy in front of him can defeat him in seconds. Chapter 235 Top Level Chat. A little while. Eisen brought the pale-faced Bullet to the gate of the Hunters Guild, while the Hades Rayleigh and Whitebeard watched vigilantly at Bullet, who was following Eisen. That guy is a ticking time bomb. What? President Eisen, you mean cough, Bullet has joined our Hunter Guild. Hearing Eisen's words, Rayleigh, Whitebeard and everyone in the Hunter Guild opened their mouths wide and their eyes filled with disbelief. How could this guy threaten to destroy the Hunter Guild just now, and the vice chairman's heart is too big? President Eisen, are you sure? Dory Brocky's eyes widened, feeling like he was in a dream. It was incredible. Oh, of course. As for your worries, this is absolutely unnecessary. If he dares to disagree with the Hunter Guild, I will kill him with my own hands. Seeing that even Rayleigh was wary of him, Bullet glanced at him and said, "Don't worry, I won't do anything harmful to the Hunter Guild until I defeat Eisen." Oh. When Rayleigh heard Bullet's familiar voice, he couldn't help but recall the scene when Bullet first boarded the Roger pirate ship. At that time, Bullet was in this state. It seems that since Roger's death, Bullet has now made President Eisen on the spot a new goal. He understands Barrett's temperament very well. He is an extremely advocating guy. As long as the opponent is stronger than him, he will completely surrender. Of course, the premise is that that person has the strength to completely suppress him. Put it bluntly, this guy is a double-edged sword. Well, it is a magic weapon. If it is not used properly, it is a disaster. This was the case with Roger before. He suppressed Bullet with tyrannical strength, and the effect was very good. Bullet was Roger's C in those years. The thieves have made great contributions, and for the battle mad, the greatest joy is fighting. Therefore, although the relationship between Bullet and the crew was not very good, the crew were in awe and admiration for him. In that case, Bullet is welcome to join the Hunter Guild. Rayleigh's laughter rounded off the awkward atmosphere. Old man Rayleigh, you are still the same. If the Hunter Guild has a strong enemy, call me. After speaking, Bullet walked towards the interior of the Hunter Guild. This guy's temperament is like this. Since President Eisen has convinced him, there will be no problem for the time being. Everyone should leave. Rayleigh organized the crowd together, and then confronted Dory Brocky, asking them to take people to repair the damaged ground and buildings. After all, in the battle just now, a small half of the entire prehistoric island was destroyed. If I knew it was the result, why bother with such a battle? Little while, after assigning one mission after another, Rayleigh came to the top of the Hunter Guild and saw that Bullet was also looking into the distance, wondering what he was thinking. Why, are you thinking of Roger? Scoff. The ghost misses him. This guy is really caught in the door, and he will turn himself in. It's a pity I couldn't defeat him head-on. Bullet's temperament is obviously suppressed by Eisen, and he has restrained himself. Hearing Bullet's words, Rayleigh sighed slightly. Don't you want to know why Roger, who was famous at the time, turned himself into Marine? Hearing Rayleigh's words, Bullet's heart twitched for a moment. It was undeniable that this was the thing he cared about the most and couldn't understand the most. Chapter 236_Vibration from All Sides Part 1. The Battle of Prehistoric Island, like a hurricane, swept the whole world. Marineford, Marine Headquarters. Office of the current Marine Marshal Momoshige. Momoshige, who was dealing with a lot of marine matters, when the phone worm beside him rang, and Momoshige answered the phone smoothly. What? Hearing the message from the other side, Momoshige, who was dealing with the affairs, stood up with a bang, and her beautiful eyes looked inconceivably in the direction of Prehistoric Island in the distance outside the window. Bullet was captured by Eisen and has now joined the Hunter Guild. Hearing this news, Momoshige's eyes flickered. The result was far beyond his expectations. Who is Bullet? For quite a few years, the Marines have launched the highest battle buster call at all costs in order to capture Bullet. In that battle, their Marine can be described as a loss heavy, numerous high-level casualties, and at the price of this, Bullet was finally arrested and imprisoned in the 6th floor of Impel Down. Moreover, the bullet at that time had not awakened the devil fruit, and the bullet was so fierce at that time, not to mention the bullet of the devil fruit who has awakened now. It can be seen that the Eisen of the Hunter Guild is strong. But fortunately, from the current situation, the Hunter Guild is a friend rather than an enemy. In the future, if the Tianlong people are pulled from the altar of Mariajoy, it is very likely that the Hunter Guild will be a help that cannot be ignored, and the most important first point is, the mysterious president behind the Hunter Guild. No one knows how strong his strength is, but what is certain is that this person's strength is definitely stronger than Eisen. After a while, the news spread to many people. Thousands of Marines and people in Marineford were in deep shock. Bullet lost, it's true. It must be true. This news came from the marshal of the headquarters. I'm darling, I really didn't think so. Lu killed Gecko Moria in seconds, severely damaged the four emperors' shanks, and even made a fuss about the Hunters Guild, and the guy who almost wiped out the Hunters Guild was died. Quote. More than a defeat, Bullet has now become a core member of the Hunters Guild. This is incredible. How did the vice president of the Hunters Guild, Eisen, do it? It's not. It is said that our Tsunade admiral from the Hunter Guild also went there this time, and even played against Bullet, but he didn't take any advantage. So, isn't it that Eisen is more powerful than our Tsunade admiral? Hey, of course that's for sure. Do you think the average person can make Whitebeard a guest minister and Hades Rayleigh an advisor? From this battle alone, it can be seen that the strength of this blue die is much stronger than that of the four Emperor Shanks. Redford, a pirate ship. Cough cough. Drinking strong wine, Shanks, whose face was pale, looked at the newspaper in his hand, sipped his stiff chin, and faced the slight sea breeze. Although I know that Eisen is strong, but ahem, I really didn't expect it. That guy was able to subdue Barrett, who had awakened the power of the devil fruit. It's not. No one in the whole New World expected this incident. It is said that after Eisen appeared, he almost crushed and killed Bullet. Ben Beckman smoked a cigar and glanced in the direction of Prehistoric Island, filled with emotion. There are more and more powerful people in the New World, and they are completely in chaos. I always have a feeling that, in the near future, something more magnificent will happen on this sea than Roger pioneered the era of great sailing. Shanks' eyes were bright, and since the rise of powerful men and forces, his intuition became stronger and stronger. Chapter 237_All parties shake middle. IWC, the former Charlotte Linlin headquarters. Occupied by Blackbeard Teach, and all the nearby forces are under the banner of Blackbeard. Although the previous battle of the Hunter Guild caused the Blackbeard pirates to suffer heavy losses, after the expansion of the territory during this period of time, the current Blackbeard's lineup is stronger than ever. At this moment, many officials and elite members of the Blackbeard pirates are surrounding a newspaper, their eyes are full of disbelief and shock. It's incredible that Bullet was defeated by the Hunters Guild Eisen. Yeah, fortunately we didn't encounter Eisen from the Hunter Guild before, otherwise, everyone at that time would probably be wiped out. The Hunter Guild's Eisen strength is extremely high, and I'm afraid it's enough to rank in the top 3 now. What's even worse is that we have had a conflict with the Hunter Guild before, and with the captain's temperament, the two sides will definitely be enemies in the future. What are you afraid of? Our captain has the ability to have 2 kinds of devil fruits. I believe that this retreat captain's strength will be further improved. That's right, don't let other people's ambition destroy your own prestige, and we are not suitable for vegetarians to fight recklessly, then what blue die is not necessarily our captain's opponent. Yes, you must know that Shanks is not Bullet's opponent, and Bullet only gets seconds in front of Eisen. Say what? Just as everyone was discussing, a dignified and majestic voice pierced the air and overwhelmed everyone's voices, ringing in everyone's ears, and everyone subconsciously shuddered. Captain, you, out. The captain finally came out. Something big happened during this time. A Blackbeard's confidant cadre, with a heavy face, handed the newspaper of their discussion to Blackbeard Teach. And when knowing the information in the newspaper, Blackbeard Teach, whose strength had soared, turned cold, and his eyes flickered. obviously the news in the newspaper was against him. After a little, Teach took a deep breath, his eyes were cold and his face was solemn. Bullet, kill Shichibukai Gecko Moria that waste, and hurt Shanks. Very strong, the Hunters Guild is no match for the Pluto Rayleigh and Whitebeard, and the Marine Headquarters Tsunade Admiral shot. In the end, at the critical moment, Aizen backhanded it. Looking at the newspaper in his hand, Teach's mouth curled into Isho. Aizen, the vice president of the Hunter Guild, is a really strong opponent. I guess Kaido and Doflamingo also know about it. It seems that we need to deepen our cooperation. I heard that Doflamingo's scientist Caesar developed a new artificial fruit. Teach smiled sensually, and a crazy plan to create a strong man appeared in his mind. The urgent pressure made Teach have to create more combat power in the shortest possible time, no matter what. Pay any price. Wano-kuni, Kaido of the Beast's headquarters. Ha ha ha, this world is getting more and more interesting. It's so lively, first the mysterious powerhouse who killed the dragon, then Baizi, the boy who rescued Garp, and now it's Aizen from the Hunter Guild. Tisk tisk, it seems that the time for me to show off Kaido of the Beasts is about time. It's here, but before that, you must be well prepared, and the past will never happen again. Come on, contact Caesar immediately and say that I agree to his conditions. Hurry up and let him bring the artificial fruit to me. The powerful voice pierced the air and rang over the headquarters. One by one orders were conveyed from the mouth of Kaido of the Beasts, and the headquarters of the fighting machines quickly became active. Chapter 238 All parties shake below. Kingdom of Dressrosa. Majestic and majestic palace. At this moment Doflamingo is holding a glass of red wine like donating blood, enjoying his leisure time. Filled with expressions of tension and fear, I really thought Doflamingo was a good king who did his best for the well-being of the people. However, they all knew very well in their hearts that Doflamingo was only doing some shady deeds in the name of the king. Doflamingo was abandoned by his parents as an aristocrat since he was a child, and became an ordinary person. After that, he killed his father himself. His personality was extremely distorted. There are already 8 towns destroyed by his hands, and countless innocent people died directly or indirectly in his hands. Doflamingo's pirate group operates a variety of industries, including lubricators, poisonous, and artificial devil fruit. He does everything illegal. To be precise, where there is interest, there is Doflamingo. He is a complete careerist and conspirator. This person is rebellious, cruel, arrogant and indifferent. In order to achieve his goals, he can use any means. He is a person with no bottom line, and it is such a person who becomes the king of a country. It is conceivable that the people of the kingdom of Dressrosa live such a dire life. Young master, something big has happened. Bullet has joined the Hunter Guild. Under Doflamingo, a high-ranking man walked quickly to the palace and delivered the freshly baked newspaper in his hand to Doflamingo. Brother Ming's eyes. Hearing the words of his senior cadres, Doflamingo's heart skipped a beat. His eyes fell on the newspaper on the table. The red wine was trembling wantonly in the red wine glass he was holding. My heart was very restless. Bullet, this person has long been known to be a well-known celebrity. An existence in the era of Roger, whose strength is absolutely comparable to the Hades Rayleigh. And just a while ago, he heard that this Bullet has awakened a rare fusion fruit. In order to defeat all the powerhouses, he went to the Hunter Guild, an existence that even he was extremely afraid of. It's just that he never imagined that this tyrannical Bullet would be defeated by that Aizen, and he was also brought under his command, which is definitely not good news for him. Such a formidable rival will definitely be a confidant in the future. Young master, this Bullet is extremely powerful. Before, he couldn't help but kill Gecko Moria and severely damage the 4 Emperor Shanks. When he was in the Hunter Guild, Whitebeard, Hades Rayleigh and Marine Admiral Tsunade, and the 9-tailed demon fox who was no weaker than them, the 4 sides shot one after another, but they couldn't suppress that Bullet's awakening ability, but after Aizen appeared, Bullet was directly suppressed by it. The Eisen of the Hunter Guild is so tyrannical that it's not something we can deal with now. Beep 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 beep. Doflamingo's senior cadres were dignified when the phone worm beside Doflamingo rang, and he picked up the phone worm. After learning the news from the other side, Doflamingo smiled. Chapter 239_Ace arrives. In the palace, Doflamingo, who was drinking red wine, smiled. The smile is very happy. Apparently received the big list of the 4 emperors Kaido of the Beasts and Blackbeard teach. Aizen's strength is terrible, and the forces of all parties are surging one after another, and the two feel a deep crisis. For the 4 sovereigns, but today is not the same as in the past, the high-caliber cadres under the 2 of them were killed and injured. No doubt his artificial fruit has become the most attractive object. Brother Doflamingo agreed to the 2 on the spot, but only for the price. Then it's up to him. At the same time, the other side. Revolutionary Army Headquarters. At this moment, Sabo, who is the second in command, is dealing with many affairs of the Revolutionary Army. After the leader Long was killed, although there were 2 leaders of Baizi, he did not come once for a long time, and many affairs had already piled up into a mountain. As well as reporting, and finally, under Baizi's order, Sabo took the post of temporary leader. For this appointment, many cadres and soldiers of the Revolutionary Army, of course, so, after all, Sabo's prestige in the Revolutionary Army is extremely high, and there is nothing wrong with the powers of the temporary leader. The Revolutionary Army headquarters was peaceful at this moment. On the coast, a figure wearing a hat came from the shore to the Revolutionary Army headquarters. Ace. He is Ace. Oh, son of the last One Piece, King of Pirates. Well, it's him. Now he is the captain of the 2nd and 2nd Division under the leader of Baizi, or the eldest brother of our Chief of Staff Sabo. Why did he come? Shouldn't he be on Fishman Island? I don't know. Ace came in person, probably with the task of leader Baizi. It was thanks to Ace that they arrived in time, otherwise our losses would be immeasurable. Now the second leader of Baizi is not only the leader of the Revolutionary Army, but also one of the 4 emperors. I am afraid that Marine will hate him to death. More than that, haven't you heard that the second leader of Baizi has joined the Hunter Guild? It is said that Marine's Tsunade Admiral also joined the Hunters Guild. I really want to know how Aizen of the Hunters Guild managed to achieve so many revolutionary troops. When I saw Ace appearing at the headquarters, there was a lot of discussion. Master Ace, you are here. I've seen Ace-sama. In the Revolutionary Army headquarters are full of admiration, not only Ace, but every cadre of the entire Yanwang pirates, they are like this. The Yanwang pirates, they would have died at the hands of the rebel alliances from all sides. Enjoy it, it won't be so idle in a few days. Ace's next sentence was that he stepped into the headquarters of the Revolutionary Army, and the Revolutionary Army on the way was very respectful to Ace. Leader's 2nd Division Captain. And the eldest brother of the Chief of Staff, this identity is enough to make them so. Squeak. With the sound of gate of opening, Ace saw behind the one-man-tall copywriter. Sabo immersed himself in all kinds of things that came to the kingdom of the liberated area, and he had not slept for 2 days and 2 nights. Stuff, put it on the table, I'll deal with it later. Sabo didn't lift his head. When he heard someone approaching, he said a word when he was born, and he went to work again. Seeing that Sabo is so busy, the Ace Bowl is hot issue. To be honest, Sabo is quite suitable for this seat. No wonder the captain is not willing, this is not easy to sit on. Sabo, we meet again. An incomparably familiar voice came from Ace's throat, and then swayed throughout the leader's office. Sabo immediately stopped the affairs in his hands when he heard the voice, and his eyes finally lifted up. Cis figure, with joy and surprise on his face. Ace, why are you here? Sabo stood up from his seat. At this moment, Ace could clearly feel the aura of a weak voice in his body. Sabo was more calm and convincing than before. Seeing his brother coming, Sabo didn't have the mind to deal with affairs, so he just put it on the other side. How is it? Are you still used to it? Ace looked at the thick and tall document, the corners of his mouth twitched uncontrollably. This is not something ordinary people can do. Anyway, if it were him, he would definitely collapse. Call. I've been exhausted these 2 days. By the way, Ace, did Leader Baizi say when he will take over as leader? Thinking about the experience of the past 2 days, Sabo finally understood why the dragon was so tired many times before. It was not a job done by humans. Tired. One word, too tired. Don't think about taking over as the leader. With Captain Baizi's temperament, it is impossible to come here to deal with these tedious things. This time I came here with the captain's order. From now on, you will no longer be the temporary leader, but the leader of the Revolutionary Army, and you will have the same right to speak as the leader of the Revolutionary Army in the future. Poof. Ace, you will, Leader Baizi will give me the Revolutionary Army. Sabo was completely stunned. In just 2 days, he felt that he lost half of his life. If this continued, he would be half disabled even if he didn't die. You're doing yourself a favor. Unless you announce the dissolution of the Revolutionary Army, you'll be seated as the leader. Ace rarely saw Sabo like this, and smiled heartlessly, because in his opinion, Sabo is indeed the most suitable person to be the leader of the Revolutionary Army. Chapter 240 New Second Leader of the Revolutionary Army. Revolutionary Army Headquarters, in the leader's office. Sabo's face was bitter. Obviously, this news made him completely unacceptable. He didn't want to be the leader, but he didn't want to disband the Revolutionary Army. You must know that the Revolutionary Army is the dream of the dragon, and it is also Sabo's dream. Since the moment Long rescued him at sea, his fate and the Revolutionary Army have been firmly tied together. After about 10 minutes, that Sabo became the second leader of the Revolutionary Army spread throughout the entire Revolutionary Army headquarters, and the announcement of this news directly detonated the entire headquarters. What? Chief of Staff Sabo became the second leader. Yes, the news just came out that from now on Sabo will be another leader of our Revolutionary Army. Oh my god, this is an incredible event, great news. Ha ha ha, Sabo became the second leader, isn't it a matter of course, but it sounds so happy. That's right, Sabo's contribution to our Revolutionary Army is obvious to all, and the leader Long has been training him as the next leader. I just hate that that mysterious man actually killed the leader. But fortunately Leader Baizi rescued Garp, otherwise the leader would not rest in the spirit of the sky. Revolutionary Army headquarters was boiling, and Sabo's becoming the leader was a well-deserved thing in the eyes of everyone, but when the news spread to the ears of other forces, it was different. Marine Headquarters, Momoshiki Office. Sabo, in the staff of the Revolutionary Army, is the second leader of the Revolutionary Army of the Heart. Momoshiki murmured at the news in his hand, and the figure of Baizi couldn't help but emerge in his mind. It seems that there is going to be a move. Sure enough, he will not directly control the Revolutionary Army, but this hand can make the Revolutionary Army play a greater role. I just don't know what he's planning. With the increasing fusion of demon contracts, the image of Baizi in the rabbit's heart has also changed, becoming somewhat worshipped and admired. Especially since this time, the words always felt stronger. Come on. Shaking his head, he threw out the messy thoughts in his mind and called his subordinates. Marshal. Notice. Go down, closely monitor every move of the Revolutionary Army, and report to me if there is any move. Momoshiki immediately gave a big order. This move of the Revolutionary Army is a very important part of the future against Mariajoy Tenryubito. Yes. The messenger gave a military salute and turned around to give orders to execute Marshal Momoshiki. Although Momoshiki is a girl, but during this period of time in the position of Marine Marshal, she has completely conquered many Marines who were not optimistic. It can be said that in some respects, Momoshiki has done better than the former Marine Marshal Sengoku. Not long after, the Marine headquarters was also shocked by this news. Hey, have you heard that there is a big incident at the headquarters of the Revolutionary Army, and Sabo has become the leader of the Revolutionary Army? Second leader, it's true or false, but that Sabo is really not a fuel-efficient lamp. Well, in this new year, the Revolutionary Army can develop so quickly that Sabo has made a lot of efforts. Hey, in this troubled season, now the Four Emperors Baizi is not only the head of the Yanwang pirates, but also the leader of the Revolutionary Army. With such an unprecedentedly powerful enemy, Marshal Momoshige must be under a lot of pressure. The pressure is certain, you must know that. Baizi is a mysterious man who can kill the Revolutionary Army leader long with hard steel, and his strength is probably still higher than that of Marshal Momoshige. The world is in complete chaos, especially the Hunter Guild. Now I don't know if it's an enemy or a friend. Pluto Rayleigh, Whitebeard, Buffett, Baizi, Shanks, and our Tsunade Admiral, I really don't know the existence of this Hunter Guild, that Aizen, or what the Hunter Guild president in the back is going to do. Who knows, let's do our job well, we don't have that ability in other things. The Marine headquarters is hotly discussing and complaining, and more people are also worried about the future of their Marine, because the forces of various parties are constantly emerging, and the growth of strength far exceeds their expectations. Previously it was Blackbeard Teach, who almost wiped out the Whitebeard pirate group, then the mysterious man killed the leader dragon, and then the Four Emperors Baizi fought against the mysterious man and rescued their hero Garp, and now the Hunter Guild is a super aggregation. If they are close to their Marine, I don't know if they are enemies or friends, and I don't know what Marshal Momoshige thinks. If the Hunter Guild comes to attack their Marine headquarters, I am afraid that they will not have the ability to protect themselves.